Welcome back to the Supremely Black Podcast. This is your boy D Rose. Just tapping in with you, fam, on this good Thursday morning. Almost coming to you like the news. Appreciate the people that have hit us up with some information to cover and things of that nature. That's greatly appreciated. I've been behind the scenes working on some things. So for the people that are in the DFW area, follow our Instagram, which is supremely_black_podcast. We will be doing a nonprofit event in, I think it's like the South Dallas area. I'll be posting information on Saturday, on Friday night to kind of let everybody know exactly what's going on. It will not be weather permitting. I do know that it's going to be supposed to be getting like some freezing rain or ice tonight in the Dallas area. So I'll be traveling up to have an event Saturday afternoon at like 10 a.m. So make sure you follow our Instagram to tap in. If you want to come out, holler at your boy, help us serve the community, you're more than welcome. That's definitely to our DFW people or anybody that's in the surrounding area. Once we post the location, if you are close, tap in so we can do some real community work. But back to what we got, what's been going on. There's been a lot of news going on within our community. As we see, I've been following and keep you guys updated with what's going on with the Ahmaud Arbery case. You know, they went to federal court. They've been found guilty in federal court as well. They haven't been sentenced, but they were found guilty as well in the state court. So basically what the federal court did was tap in more into William Roddy Bryan's text messages, Travis and Greg text messages as well. You can see that this isn't something that was new to them. They haven't released anything that said that they had killed anybody else, but you could definitely tell that they were the racists that sought out to hurt and harm Ahmaud Arbery. It was never about finding justice for anybody that had, robbed anybody within the community, anything like that. So that was a small win that you hardly ever see, that the justice system penalizes and actually goes in our favor. But I think, from this being something that started off that wasn't even going to be a state case, and with the grassroots people that got behind it and pushed it forward, for that to end up landing in state for them to be convicted, but then also making it to federal court, that is a small win, right? But then you have on the flip side, rest in peace to Ahmaud Arbery, but then you have on the flip side is Daunte Wright, and rising power to him. Kim Potter, the police officer that killed him, which is the white lady in Minneapolis that had mistakenly said that she thought that her gun was a taser when she fatally shot and killed him from a traffic stop. Stated that he had fled away, but at the end of the day, that's not worth anyone's life. Now, as we see Ahmaud Arbery's killers get life, you see her only get 2 years, and basically she's already been serving time, so she may get or may serve a year and a half. What I found very funny about that is that she's in protective custody, of course. She also has an empathy box that was talked about in court, where people were able to send her letters, let them know how sorry they was, that they're standing on her side, letting her know that there was an accident and exactly of how remorseful she was. But when you hear the father of Daunte Wright and the mother saying that they feel that their son was killed all over again just by the justice system's ruling. And when you think about stuff like that, man, it's disheartening, because you're looking at it from a perspective of outside looking in and not even thinking about a lot of times white women tears trumps how other people may have what they really went through. And you can see in this particular case is she cried, and some people call it gator tears, and you don't think about how fucked up that is for the families, because accident or not, you actually killed my son. And just to say that my son's life at 20 years young is only worth 2 years of somebody doing an accident from a trained professional. That's what police officers are. That's disheartening, man. So, I hope that people within the community continue to fight the fight, but also to, wrap their arms around the mother and father that are still living and have to deal with this, because this is not something that's just gonna, fly by night and people just gonna look at it as the right verdict. And when you think about Ahmaud received justice, and then you think about Daunte Wright's family, so it's so much stuff that we have to do. And when you're doing the community work, you understand that. Another thing, this was actually sent to me, which was crazy. In Utah, a 4-year-old was in the drive-thru of a McDonald's, and the order was wrong. And the father had got mad because he wanted them to fix the order. He had ordered for the son or daughter. They didn't really put it out because it was just a 4-year-old, excuse me, had pointed a gun and fired at the police, like shot at the police a couple times, right? Nobody was hurt, nobody was killed, thankfully. But then it's like you're wanting to be, you want to focus on all the stuff that's going on, all the shit that's going on within our community, and then it's like you have this. And then if you instructed a 4-year-old to shoot at the police officers because of a wrong order at a McDonald's, first and foremost, man, honestly, you can find some better food than McDonald's. But if that kid was killed, then you put the community, you got the uproar within society itself, how it gets shared on social media. There's a whole impact. And then the only thing we're going to hear that's going to catch our attention, all the little clickbait is going to read is 4-year-old killed in a drive-thru by police officers. Not where a parent put their child in that predicament. Luckily, they weren't killed, but as a 4-year-old instructing them to shoot a gun, it's like, come on, bruh. We got enough stuff going on within our community that we don't need this type of actions. You putting your kid in harm's way. Like, if you want to be shooting at the police, you shoot at the police. But don't have your 4-year-old potentially get killed. Luckily, they were able to just knock the gun out of the 4-year-old's hand. And, of course, the father was charged with, child abuse and threatening with a dangerous weapon, since he threatened the workers at McDonald's, but he wasn't the one that actually pulled the trigger, which was a 4-year-old. Which is crazy. It's just, like I said, it's a lot of stuff going on sometimes. You're creating this content and trying to find out different ways or different angles of how to pitch it or, talk about it. It's draining. Ain't no way around it. Like this next situation. And shout out to the brothers up there in Detroit, New Era. If you aren't aware of them, you could definitely check them out on Instagram as well. What they do is they're violence interrupters. They've been doing it for years. They should be talked about everywhere. I really wish that this model would, go from city to city, state to state. I do know that they do have different branches, but we really need more brothers like this, boots on the ground, trying to get things changed within our community and not just waiting on people that we can consider our opposition trying to help us within this fight. There was a 5-year-old and 3 other people that was killed in the house shooting, which in Detroit, this was like earlier last week or end of last week, excuse me. And the 5-year-old that killed the other 3 people, the family haven't heard from him in a while. You know how typical story, they haven't heard from him. They did a wellness check to come to find out 3 people killed in the house, and a 5-year-old was one of them. And when they had found the murder suspects, it was 16 and 17-year-old, man. And so when when you're doing the community work and really trying to push, things forward or, course correct some of the things that may have been put in the hood for us to be behind the 8 ball, I get it. But when you get stories like this and you hear about it, and this was sent to my DM, so, shout out to the person that sent this as well. It's like we can't win for losing, and we're in this mind state, not understanding crime is going to occur around the people that you're around. But at some point, we have to realize that once you identify the real enemy and start working together, it's way different. Like when you become that type of force to where it's unison and pushing forward, you become hard to beat. And whatever the sickness is, whatever just the mindset that we have within our community, I just hope that as people continue to help others within the community, is that we meet people where they are, but then also enlighten them of different things that they can do to impact their community or be a better person for themselves. Because if you ask me, just from doing a little work, because I haven't done it all, and I don't want this to come off in like a preacher way, but I feel as if that they've put a lot of different things within our communities to keep us distracted. But if we minimize those distractions, we are people that cannot be stopped. We are an unstoppable force. They understand that. That's why it's so many different distractions, so many different, we'll stick at the distraction. That's why it's so many different distractions within our neighborhoods, because they understand that the power that we have within our unity. And there's reasons why, like we've talked about it on previous episodes with Tulsa, with Black Wall Street. There's reasons why, 50 years later, after 1921, when they were bombed, 50 years later, they made sure that they removed all the ownership, which was a 35 block of people that had homes, grocery stores, none of that remained. They put highways through it. There's always been divergent tactics to make sure that we don't understand our power. We just have to take that back and minimize the distraction. I understand stuff is going to happen, but the hate that we have amongst each other has to change in some type of way. And, hearing stories like the Detroit situation, you got Kim Potter not getting it, Ahmaud Arbery, we have enough people that are against us moving forward that we can't continue to have that same hate within our communities. If you think about some of the times back in the day, it hasn't always been perfect, but even though we're not all going to agree, we can all still work with each other. And I'll leave it at that. Make sure you hit a like, make sure you share the comments, make sure you share the content, and make sure you subscribe if you are new. Let's keep pushing, man. But long live CC, and I'm out.